destiny is in their hands. You all have to vote wisely. On that note, we welcome you to Press Drive for today on I-FLIER 103.3 FM. Happy weekend, and we celebrate all our dear listeners. Today on Press Drive, we are going to start with the headlines, then move into the details, then we'll bring in an analyst, and you all get to react to any stories making the rounds this morning. This morning I've got the Punch, the Nation, the Vanguard, the Daily Trust. I will probably take a look at the Tribune newspaper, Nigerian Tribune, and the Guardian newspaper. My name is Marvellous Sobaloju, and I am your host on Press Drive this morning. Let's start the show for today. Starting with the Punch newspaper for today, the 16th day in the month of July 2022. Popular entertainers convicted of crimes. Wife, mom, nephew died after bathing with mysterious soap, says artisan. Baba Ijesha's name entered in sexual offenders register. And moving to politics quickly, Osun governorship election, APC, PDP, others devise new vote buying strategies. And on Muslim ticket, Tinubu ignores critics, submit INEC form. Northern Christians will teach APC a lesson over Muslim ticket. That's coming from Prophet Helbuba. And coming from the Ohanaeze Ndigbo, why we haven't endorsed any presidential candidates. On disco takeover, BEDC begins contempt proceedings against federal government. And on Osun poll, soldiers arrest NURTW boss, others. Akwa Ibom police rescued 28 fishermen kidnapped by pirates. Police begin search for Adamawa Poly lecturers' killers. Police arrest Kuje prison escapee in Katsina. And in Ogun State on flooding, Ogun fish farmers lament 500 million naira loss. Man bags triple life sentences for defiling daughters. Gunmen kill Adamawa Poly lecturer in wife's presence. Customs bar terminal operators from Porter over debts. PDP suit against placeholder baseless, says Pro Obi Group. We will reject Muslim tickets, says Sokapu. Group berates SAN over comments on article. Allow elections in Southeast, Ohanaeze begs IPOB. On Osun poll, return march among similar foes. APC jittery over Oni's petition, says support group. And on PVC, INEC projects 95 million voters for 2023 elections. Moving away from the Punch newspaper now to the Vanguard newspaper. And this is coming from the president. I closed land borders for farmers. On Delta governorship poll, INEC received court order declaring Edebie as PDP candidate. And still from the Vanguard newspaper, on Osun, vote buying, fear of violence takes center stage. They slaughtered 6 cows to feed us. Train attack victim. Abducted with wife. Speak of life with terrorists. Months to the end of President Muhammadu Buhari administration, Southeast roads remain death traps. 13 youth groups reject Shetima as Tinubu's running mate. Edo begins clampdown on unregistered vehicles August 1st. Set up committee. On our massacre, we won't fail our people again. Criminals must be smoked out, Akeredolu vows. Arrested at 17, scavengers cries for help from prison, suffered stroke. And a Muslim ticket, Northern Christians storm Asovilla, protest Shetima's selection. Iyabojo react to Baba Jesha's jail term over sexual assault. On Eco 2022, Lagos to host biggest harvest ever, Sobaloju assures. Naira rises at investors' exporters' window. Nigeria records high has 25 million infants miss out of life-saving vaccinations. On 2023, INEC extends CVR till July 31st. arrest release Osun NURTW chieftain. Court dismisses suit against Akwa Ibom PDP Congress. Police arrest school principal teacher over alleged rape of 14-year-old girl. On Kuje jailbreak, police arrest another fugitive in Castina. And this is still in our show on Osun election. Upholds her code of conduct and oath of neutrality. INEC chairman right staff. No DSS advisory to Buhari warning against Muslim ticket, says presidency. On wholesome practices, LASG shut 19 medical facilities in Alimosho. NYSC Trust Fund, not lush fund for top military brass, says official. Kano government shut 26 health institutes for operating illegally. And moving to the Daily Trust newspaper as well. On Osun, we will collect money, vote our choices, says residents. Dara farm on my mind, says Buhari. Why Nigerians find it difficult to coexist with vehicle inspection officers. Two killed as bandits and Saru terrorists clash in Biningwari. As ASU's 4-month strike lingers, lecturers tell survival tales. INEC to end voters' registration 31st of July after court ruling. On Osun election, Nigerians watching us, INEC chairman tells staff. Why Nigeria must rethink financial system regulation, says Emefiele. And moving to the Guardian newspaper very quickly as well. On Muslim ticket, APC puts on hold Shetima's unveiling opposition mount. Delta police invade baby factory, arrest 2 suspects, rescue 3. Edo PDP conducts by-election for House of Representatives State Assembly. Don't sign peace treaty with Fulani terrorists. That's coming from Lalong. Or should decide, Mahmoud warns INEC officials against unethical behavior. INEC to end voters' registration on the 31st of July targets 95 million voters for 2023 election. On insecurity, Matawale canvasses 70 years retirement age for security personnel. Worry as Nigerians' inflation rate rises to 18.60%. Why Wike Makinde Udom not at Osun PDP rally? I closed land borders to benefit farmers, says Buhari. Moving now to the Nation's newspaper, and that's going to be the last paper. We'll be checking out the top stories, and we have this one. Nigerians Adefuke Adeyemi elected AFCAC Secretary General. The Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele has said the Nigerian economy survived several headwinds and economic turmoils due to the Apex Bank application of homegrown policy measures. Ndigbo needs politicians like Tinubu, Ohanaeze chieftain says. 59,392 lawyers to elect new NBA chairman. Treasury Single Account (TSA) has helped save money from unscrupulous government officials, says President Muhammadu Buhari. Tools for accessing compromised credit cards found on Naira Marley. Alawa Kala's son, wife, welcome twins after 14 IVF attempt miscarriages. On Constitution Amendment, Lagos Assembly transmit resolutions to National Assembly. Court bars media coverage of late Osinachi's children testimony. Soludo seeks approval of 100 million naira loan from Anambra Assembly. And the last headline from the Nation's newspaper, CJN to earn 10 million naira monthly as court orders immediate increment of judges' salaries. These are some of the headlines making the rounds this morning. Now let's go into some of the major news. Don't go anywhere. Press Drive continues.
The perfect choice station for the I-FLIERs.
Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to Press Drive on I-FLIER 103.3 FM.
Yes, you're welcome back. Now let's go into the details of some of the major headlines this morning. And I'm going to start with the last one I had to hand with. That's the CJN from the Nation's newspaper. CJN to earn 100 million naira monthly as court orders immediate increment of judges' salaries. And we have a rider, Supreme Court, Appeal Court justices placed on 9 million naira. The National Industrial Court on Friday ordered the immediate uphold and upward review of judges' salary. Abuja Court ruled that the minimum monthly salary of 10 million naira should be paid to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and 9 million naira be paid each justice of the Supreme Court. Delivering judgment, Justice Obaseki Osage directed the National Assembly, the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice and National Judicial Commission to comply with the directive of the court to ensure immediate compliance with its order. The court held that with the combined interpretation of the provision of Section 4, subsection 1 and 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended and the first schedule of 6, subsection 1b of the RMAFC Act 2004, that the first and second defendant did not have the power to neglect by failing or perform their constitutional and statutory duties of reviewing judges' salaries since 2008. Obaseki Osage further declared that the act unconstitutional and said that the current salaries of judges were embarrassingly too low given the recent socio-economic realities and other factors such as the value of the naira against the currencies of some countries. She further made an order of mandatory injunction complying all the defendants to forthwith put in place or activate legal and administrative machineries to regain payment to the justices. The minimum monthly salary of 10 million naira, she said, should be paid to the Chief Justice of Nigeria and each justice of the Supreme Court a minimum monthly salary of 9 million naira. She said the minimum monthly salary of 9 million naira should be paid to the President and justices of the Court of Appeal. The court also ordered a minimum monthly allowance of 8 million naira to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court and 7 million naira for each of the justices of the same court. As for the President of the National Industrial Court and each of the judges of the same court, a minimum monthly salary of 8 million naira and 7 million naira respectively was ordered by the court. The court ordered that the chief judge of each state high court and each judge of the same court should be paid a minimum monthly salary of 7 million naira. The judge in addition stated that the chief judge of the FCT minimum monthly salary should be 8 million naira and 7 million naira to each judge of the same court. This one is from the Vanguard newspaper. Soldiers arrest, release Osho NURT chieftain. Soldiers have reportedly arrested a National Union of Road Transport Workers chieftain in Oshogbo, Oyewale Kazeem, an APC supporter. It was gathered that some hoodlums attacked the old garage where the Kazeem is the chairman and were resisted by his boys, leading to a free-for-all. Soldiers who were parading around the area at that time were said to have moved in and arrested the hoodlums, including the park boss. The hoodlums were said to have been handed over to the police at the command headquarters in Oshogbo. When contacted, the DIG in charge of election, Johnson Kokumo, said some arrests were made but did not confirm if Kazeem was arrested. According to him, yes, some arrests were made and the arrested suspects are still in police custody. End of quote. And from the Daily Trust newspaper, we have this one, still in Osun. We'll collect money. Vote our choices, says residents. Yes, as the people of Osun elect a new governor for the next 4 years, there is a heavily deployment of security operatives in major towns of the state. Not less than 1,995,657 registered voters are expected to exercise their franchise across the 3,763 polling units. Meanwhile, residents were vowed to collect greedy politicians' money and still vote for their candidates. Soldiers, policemen, and members of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps were seen in strategic locations around the state capital and border towns. The elections, which will be contested by 15 political parties, is expected to be a straight draw between the incumbent governor Adegboyega Oyetola of the All Progressive Congress and Senator Ademola Adeleke of the People's Democratic Party (PDP). Other candidates in the race are the former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Lasun Yusuf of the Labour Party, Goke Omigbodun of the Social Democratic Party, and Akin Ogunbiyi of the Accord Party. Meanwhile, residents who spoke with newsmen said their choice would not be influenced by money and other forms of inducement. More voters are expected to participate in the election than the 2018 poll, when 767,444 electorate out of the 1.6 registered voters exercised their franchise. The election recorded 45.99% turnout. In 2018, the Independent National Electoral Commission declares Oyetola as winner, having polled 255,505 voters against Adeleke, who had 255,023 votes at the end of a supplementary election, which led to 7 polling units across 4 local governments amid allegations of harassment and other form of malpractices. from the Guardian newspaper, INEC to end voters registration July 31, targets 95 million voters for 2023 poll. The Independent National Electoral Commission yesterday declared the continuous voters registration would officially end on July 31, 2022. The Commission announced the extension after deliberations on some concerns around the exercise, among other things. INEC National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voters Education Committee, Festus Okoye, who disclosed this in a statement in Abuja, also said the Commission was projecting 95 million voters for the 2023 poll. Okoye said the Commission took the decision following a judgment delivered by the Federal High Court on Wednesday, July 13, 2022, which dismissed the suit filed by the Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project (SERAP) seeking an extension of the exercise beyond June 2022. The Commission had previously extended the June 30 deadline, but did not stipulate when the exercise will officially end. Okoye, however, said the court has now affirmed that INEC was at liberty to appoint a date for its choice to suspend the CVR, provided it is not later than 90 days before the day fixed for the general election, as provided in Section 9, Subsection 6 of the Electoral Act 2022. It said with the judgment of the Federal High Court, all legal proofs have been removed. And still from the Guardian newspaper, why Wike Makinde Hoodum not at Osun PDP rally. The absence of Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, his Akwa Ibom counterpart Udom Emmanuel, and Seyi Makinde from Thursday's Osun governorship election rally in Oshogbo. The newsman has no link with the emergence of Governor Ifeanyi Okowa as a vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party. Governor Wike and Udom were among the three earlier recommended to Atiku for the position of vice presidential candidate before the choice of Okowa. Chief Press Secretary to the Oyo State Governor Taiwo Adisa, in a telephone interview, said it was wrong to link the absence of these PDP governors from the rally to Okowa's emergence as running mate to Atiku Abubakar. Adisa said that Makinde could not make it to the rally as he had been put out of the country to attend to crucial issues in Europe, which he explained considered with the timing of the Osun rally. However, he said that the governor directed that sufficient logistics support be provided to the rally, particularly regarding the conveyance of all personalities from the Ibadan airport to Oshogbo. Similarly, the immediate past National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Kola Ologbondiyan, specifically explained that he was fully aware that the Akwa Ibom State Governor would have been in Oshogbo, but for some unavoidable circumstances. Udom Emmanuel, according to Ologbondiyan, is not aggrieved over the choice of Okowa as running mate to Atiku. Also faulting speculations that Wike stayed away from the rally to further express his grievances against the party on Okowa's choice, said a close source to the Rivers State Governor, who preferred not to be mentioned, said there was no truth in speculations that Wike deliberately stayed away from the rally. And the last story we'll be checking out before we bring in our analyst this morning from the nation's newspaper. Soludo seeks approval of 100 billion naira loan from Anambra Assembly. As Rider says, facility would fund key infrastructure. Okay, Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo is reading the Anambra State House of Assembly seeking approval for a loan of 100 billion naira. The loan facility, according to the letter, was for the construction and refurbishment of key infrastructures in the state. The governor's letter, dated July 5, 2022, was read at the plenary yesterday by the Speaker, Honorable Uche Okafor. The Speaker said Mr. Governor was seeking approval to secure a 100 million naira global limit multiple term loan facility for the construction and refurbishment of a key infrastructure in the state. The letter was referred to the House Committee on Public Accounts for consideration. They would report to the House on Thursday, July 21, next week Thursday. Meanwhile, the lawmakers on Friday passed the State 2022 revised appropriation bill of 169.6 billion naira. The approval came more than 55 days after Governor Soludo presented the bill to the House for approval. The passage followed the adoption of the Court of the House Committee on Finance and Appropriation, led by Honorable Obina Umeneka during the plenary. While presenting the report, Umeneka, Anambra, his constituent, said that the reverse budget was made up of 108 billion naira capital expenditure and 63.3 billion naira recurrent expenditure. Yes, let's just keep you updated on happening around the entertainment world, especially on Osinachi's husband's case. Court bars media coverage of late Osinachi's children testimony. The Federal Capital Territory High Court Wuse 2 Zone 2, Abuja yesterday, barred journalists from covering or witnessing the late gospel singer Osinachi's children testimony. The move followed the granting by the courts of 3 oral applications made by Aderonke Imana, the prosecution counsel, on June 2022. The counsel filed the application during the court hearing in the alleged culpable homicide case against Uche Nwanchukwu, the late singer's husband. Newsmen report that the 3 oral applications made by Umena include the first one brought pursuant to the provision of Section 156 and 158 of Child Rights Act. The application sought that persons other than the parties in the matter, the court officials, correctional staff, and the witness guardians should not be allowed in the court when the witness would give their testimonies. The second application Mena brought was premised on Section 160 of the Child Rights Act and Section 209 of the Evidence Act. The application prayed the court to allow the other 2 witnesses who had the deceased children, being minors, to sworn evidence as PW3 and PW4. This is still Press Drive on I-FLIER 103.3 FM. Don't forget you can as well be a part of this show by dropping your comments on our Facebook page at I-FLIER 103.3 FM, at I-FLIER 103.3 FM. That way you can drop your comments. It will be read out on the show this morning as well. And don't forget, you can, for advert placement, for sponsorship, you want to place your advert on this particular show. You know, thousands and millions of people listening to this program could actually help your business. So you can be a part of Press Drive by placing your advert on this show, okay? And you would have maximum profits. We promise you that. You can call us later for advert placement or to talk business on Press Drive. Thank you very much. Now let me bring in my analyst. It's good to see you physically this time around. Good morning to you.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm sure
Good
you
morning.
are. Good morning to you. Yeah, so let's start from Oyo State. Justice Abimbola had on Friday, constituted a 7-man panel to investigate the allegations leveled against the deputy governor by the State House of Assembly. Now, the deputy governor of Oyo State, that's Rahul Olaniyan, says the constitution of the 7-man panel by the state's chief judge to investigate the House of Assembly allegation against him is unconstitutional, wrongful, and illegal. Is this truly illegal?
Well, I am not a lawyer, so my law is rusty. But if I understand well, it is not in the place of the judiciary to do that.
Oh,
yes, it is not in the place of the judiciary to constitute a panel to make an impeachment move against an executive member. That could only be done if the executive, the governor in this case, is constituting a panel to be headed by a member of the judiciary. They are two different things. The executive can constitute a panel, a probe panel, to be headed by a member of the judiciary to look into allegation of corruption, misconduct, or anything. But if the judiciary in this case is constituting a panel to look into a case of whatever they have against the governor, well, I don't know the law, because the person who is constituting this panel is someone who is very learned. My Lord cannot make mistake of the law. So I'm not in the right place to say that is it is illegal or illegal. But my own understanding of the process is that the impeachment moves and the impeachment process is solely the prerogative of the legislative, and the legislative arm of government is doing that already. Why we had ourselves in court in the first place is because the defendant felt the legislatures cannot make that move against him, and he has approached the court to stop the legislature, which is the duty of the court in this case. So, and now the court has thrown his case. The next step for him is to go to the Court of Appeal. And if the Court of Appeal opposes that, we can go to the Supreme Court. But it's very rare you have the Court of the Supreme Court upturn a decision of the Court of Appeal. It happens, but it was something that doesn't happen all the time. So what we are saying now is that he might actually have a legal predication to say it is wrong and illegal. So, and just like I have advised him, I will still stay on the advice. Whichever means his lawyers can use, whichever tactics they can deploy to ensure they drag this case, let them drag it. We all can play this game. Let them drag the case. That's the only way for him to stay longer than they want him to stay on the position. Because if this issue get out of the courts, go back to the floor of the assembly, we don't have to deceive ourselves. We know where the votes will go. Eventually he will appear, he will make a oral defense, he will do this, but at the end of this, what usually ends everything on the floor of the house is they will subject it to a voice vote. If you are in support of impeaching him, say aye, and from the number that signed the summon paper, we already know how the vote is likely to go, except a political miracle happens today or tomorrow, or it gets back into the good books of the governor or some other thing. So if they subject that to a voice vote, he is likely to lose. So the only way for him to play the kind of politics we know how to play around here is to ensure that his lawyer pray the courts, and the court hears the prayer and give them an extension. Maybe they get a stay of execution like they are looking for, or they look for a way to get adjournment over adjournment. So by May 28th, 2023, the court can now deliver its judgment and everybody can go home.
It's okay. All right, but a quick one still from the Oyo State Deputy Governor. It seems we've not been hearing from the APC, the same party the Deputy Governor defected to in Oyo State. Why is that? It seems to be quiet. They seem to be observing.
I don't know what the APC is doing about this to support him. But politicals are there to give credence to, to give backings to one of their own. He is one of their own now. But they cannot model too much in this.
Yeah.
Especially for a case that is already in the courts. So they will be providing their whatever support they can give behind closed doors. I don't know what the APC is doing. I expect them. For now, I expect the APC to have issued a statement in support of the deputy governor. But up to now, we've not had any strong statement from the APC. We don't even know their position in all of this. And it's not like this person is vying for another elective position under the platform of the party. I don't know what they are promising him behind closed door. But at least you have to show up for your person. This person has risked all to join your party because he risked his position. He knew what was definitely coming before dumping the PDP and joining the APC. He risked everything to join your party. The least you can do for such a person is to throw your weight behind him. Make strong statements, call press conference and address the press and state your position. Get your lawyers to support. At least they have the legal department within the APC in Oyo State. In fact, get your lawyer to support this person and get your propaganda machines working. All these political parties, they have people who spread propagandas for them on the traditional media, on radio, on TV, on especially on the social media. They have a lot of guys. Get your propaganda machines working. Drive a narrative that you think I'm dropping professional tips. There's something they should be giving us millions for Marvellous. That's what we are dropping. So, but you don't see the APC doing that for them. I don't know what they are doing exactly, but I want to believe they are doing something to support him, or there is a bigger package, bigger than what is likely to lose it.
Okay, no problem. Now let's go to the judiciary a little bit before we go into Oshun, because of course Oshun is doing something wonderful today. Now to the judiciary, a national industrial court in Abuja has ordered that the National Assembly, the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission and the rest of them to urgently initiate the measures to ensure upward review of salaries and allowances to judges. Now let's take a look at the judiciary first of all before we go into these salaries and allowances. Now, since the ex-CJN left, the judiciary seems to have relaxed on their demands, because they were complaining about so much before he left. There was no Wi-Fi, they're not giving them the proper treatment as judges and all of that, and it seems immediately he stepped down, the whole thing went down like that.
Don't forget, after the inauguration of the new CJN, he said something that even the information that got to the public were not meant to get to the public. That those were internal memos. So they were and if you look at the trajectories, it's very rare you see the judiciary
come out to say things like that.
That those informations he agreed that there were actually demands, but the demands were not meant to get to the public domain. How that got to the public domain, they did not know. So someone actually leaked a confidential document. So it's that those were internal memos that judges were sending to the office of DJJ. We need this in my office, we need this in my office, we've not been enjoying this. So probably after his inauguration, they have dealt with that within. But on the remuneration of judges, it's not a fiat something that Federal Mobilization and Allocation Agency can actually look at or commission. Everything that the judiciary does goes through the Nigerian Judicial Commission, including the appointment of judges. In fact, especially the appointments of judges, because a lot of time when they appoint judges, maybe in states or at the federal, they say, the governor has imposed. What the governor or the president does in the case of judges' appointment is to nominate. The president will make nomination. It's the same process. Maybe you want to appoint the head of university, they make the nomination, 3 names. There are usually 4 or 5 candidates for a bench. When a judge is retiring, there are maybe like 2, 3, 4 or 5 who will be qualified to step into that position. He will make nomination. Definitely we know that will be influenced with so many interests, probably someone who supports them. But if we make nomination, send it to the NJC, Nigerian Judicial Commission. We will look at the nominations, then send their preferred candidate back to the president. If that one is okay with the president of the governor, that person will be appointed an interim judge. Ooh. Not a substantive one.
Okay.
Appointed. The CJN now is serving on the interim.
Yeah.
So after the appointment on the interim, the name will be sent to the National Assembly or the State Assembly as it may apply.
Okay.
So after ratification by the State of Assembly, after appearing or whatever they want to do, and the State or the National Assembly certifies that this person is good, then they will bring it back to the president signs, and that person becomes a substantive judge. That is how they apply. So the same thing applies to their remuneration. Their remuneration is not the same with every other civil servant or every other public, not civil servant in this case, every other public servant. The NJC regularize their remuneration because you cannot be giving judges just anyhow money now. A lot of people have had